Yo, what's going down? It's your boy Dub FX. I am doing a show called Hook, Line, and Thinker with DJ D Phoenix on Neo Retro FM, so tune into that. Peace.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop to look around once in a while. You could miss it.
Hey guys, you are watching Diggler Zone Network's Hook, Line, and Thinker, a podcast. I'm DJ D Phoenix, coming to you from Olympia, Washington. This is your May 2023 edition, and on this show, we're talking about all kinds of wild things that are going on in the world today.
Right angles.
90-degree angles.
Another thing interesting
And I
about it,
disagree.
Some minerals do right angles. There are some in nature. So
Bismuth.
I just want to share that.
Bismuth,
The one
yes,
that Pepto-Bismol is made out of. That is pure
Yes,
right angles.
bismuth,
Nature does
crystals,
do
yeah,
right
there
angles.
are a few.
It's not common.
Yeah.
it says
Salt
that
is-
image-
I
Salt
don't
is
see a lot of
definitely-
floating sheets of ice that are perfectly square.
right.
I'd actually
I
argue
just
with you on
no,
that
you
one,
just
Mom.
said it doesn't come in nature. So
Mhm.
as rock hunters, I see right angles all the time in nature with salt and minerals and stuff. So there could
And
be-
Robin, now that you brought that up, I have to concede a little bit because I didn't think about that, and you're absolutely correct. There are a lot more
my
angles than I
kids
thought
say all
about.
the time. My kids tell me, "Oh,
Well,
Mom, you're always right." Just kidding.
and
But yeah,
nature
Robin-
is unpredictable in its predictability. Like there are going to be those anomalies within nature. So yes, could that
No.
sheet of ice in Antarctica be an anomaly, or should we look closer at it? How often does this need to happen before we look closer at it? And honestly, in my opinion, maybe not the Antarctica one. However, you get deeper and deeper and you look at all the pyramids, the right angles, the triangles throughout the entire planet, and it gets a little weird because it's not just right angles.
Oh, Kaya
Pyramid.
has a train right next to her house, by the way.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
can you hear it?
I thought it was, what's your take on Antarctica?
So we just were looking at it during the break, and I have to say, I was watching when you were the video with the man
Admiral.
talking.
Right.
It felt like, just to be honest, it felt like BS. We're gonna do this for all humankind, so I don't believe. I know that there's a lot going on up there that is still super stealth. And when I saw the iceberg thing, I kept going, is that a building? Like it felt like a building roof floating. That's what it kind of felt like to me.
Mile wide too.
The mile wide is quite
Wow.
a large
That's an
chunk of change.
interesting take.
I don't think we could ever even begin to chip away at the tip of this iceberg, so to speak.
Uh,
Because it's such a long, there's
Sure.
so much still that's unknown about it. And a lot of the information that comes out of it becomes like second and third hand information. And so it can either be
Grapevine.
right. So
And one other thing, what we see is only 10% of the iceberg. The rest is under the water.
oh yeah.
Yes.
And more than just a couple of miles.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe that's where Atlantis was. Just
Totally. There's
That's
there's
what-
been speculation of that.
there
That's
there
what
is
people-
some
I have opinions. Oh no.
There's even speculation that it's like been around Florida. I mean, but I mean,
the Bermuda right outside the Bermuda Triangle.
right? There's a great
Or
channel.
that weird
Old-
eye-looking
Old
shape
World
in the middle of the
Florida.
Sahara Desert.
Sorry, what?
Wait a second. I'm sorry, what?
See?
Yeah. Get your road.
Cool. My name's Rossborough, and you're listening to The Groove Zone. Ow.
Yes, you are, and thank you very much.
One. And it's a little
Right.
weird, and nobody's claiming, which is
Well,
suspicious.
I know that you're onto something here because like they've found massive evidence of sea life, in the Sahara Desert. So
I'm gonna send a screenshot.
also
to the
in
group really quick. Let me find
go
it.
to Ohio, like the Midwest, And there's like, Gretchen's massive fossil beds and seashells like in riverbanks and stuff, so
yeah.
pretty wild.
High up in Mount Everest, there are fossils. They find fossil records.
Mount
on
Rainier
Everest.
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wild, yeah.
Morocco.
How does that happen? Well,
That's the,
well,
that's
do you
the
remember?
geological time frames.
Well, do
Right.
you remember the world was covered? If you believe some of the stories, the world was covered with water.
well,
Right.
yes. And so
There was a flood.
that would explain it. Some got
And
frozen.
if you
some-
have tectonic plates, what do? They crash, they make mountains, right? And all that stuff that was at the bottom of the sea then goes up to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Well, the mountains are the remains of the giants, the big giants.
Big giants.
Big ones. We were talking about giants last time.
We don't have enough
Definitely.
time, unfortunately, because I mean everything
Oh,
that
but
you
we
guys been
could.
bringing up is a great subject, and it's like now I want to revisit a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
So are we gonna? But was there something else? Just for the fact for these kind people who are watching, do you want to bring up the photo of what we're talking about, because it was not in the little video that you took?
okay.
That's still.
While she does that, let's watch a quick video about Antarctica.
Oh wait, mine didn't go on here actually.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys see that?
They're getting taken off.
Can you guys see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
The Nazis. Here we go.
I love the dramatic music in the background.
Yeah, I like the title, Historia Occulta. Hidden History.
I just don't know that I buy these.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry, let me turn the Ride of the Valkyries down. I just don't know that I necessarily buy them.
Okay, so
They
I
look
watched
too-
this video with my partner earlier today, and it was talking about belief. For the example, and this is a broad one, and it's controversial, but like, do you believe in God? And this guy was talking about, if you believe in God, you do not know God. You don't believe in your parents. You know your parents. I know my mother. I don't believe in her. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so by belief, there is a doubt. And so with technological evolution, we're seeing more things that we can believe in real person because it's surveilled. But we're also seeing like deep fakes and things like that. And so there's this weird correlation between belief and knowing right now, where it's kind of all up in the air. And more so than ever before comes the rise of conspiracy theory, right? I don't believe them all. I believe in vaccinations. There's been a science behind them.
That's
for
when we don't want to get into
many millennia. Things like that. So like, you can follow the scientific method, but even then, how far back do you believe? The literature, the videos, the this or that.
Oh,
And
you
why do you believe that?
To me, science
I
is
watched
just
that
measured.
video. I watched that video of that guy talking about belief and
He's
no.
Jamaican. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that today or yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to definitely have discernment. There's no doubt. And even with that, it even says in some scriptures that it's like even the elect will be fooled.
Yeah. All I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
is, I don't think that was realistic.
Understood.
Can you hear somebody pissing themselves in Antarctica is what I want to know.
Can I hear what?
Can you hear somebody pissing themselves in Antarctica?
I would. And
Okay.
I ain't afraid of shit. You can ask my mama.
Well, there's another.
I'd go that far I'd go that far in, and I'd piss myself very gladly, very pridefully at that point. If I'm that deep in it, yeah, there's gonna be some scary shit.
Fair enough.
I just think that was manufactured for the video and for viewer purposes.
Oh,
I don't
without a
think that
doubt.
was natural.
You guys see this?
Yeah.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
What in the world is that? What
They
is
sound like-
that?
Oh
It
my.
sounds
what
like
is-
a
Oh,
a modulated pitch shifting.
No. What? No,
animal.
what we're looking at, not what we're hearing.
Yeah, that big dome coming.
I'm actually
You see
aware
that?
of that specific video if
That
anyone
almost
would
looks
like
like
to
a
hear.
So did you look at that link?
I didn't
Yes.
get a sense. So what I want to do is I want to hit on it next week.
Oh.
So definitely next week we'll talk about a shipment of red heifers that just were sent to Israel. So
So just to say, when we were there, we were able to see one of the elements that is going to go into the third temple. Many of the pieces that are ready for that period have we
they're
went
already-
are
like the instruments are
and
already.
the garments and everything are like
Yeah.
all done, aren't they?
yeah. So there's been this whole thing of in prep. And when we were there, 2004 and 2005,
Okay.
there we had already seen many of the parts, and they had talked about how important the red heifer
Yeah.
aspect was, like next level. We're
Paramount.
here.
Paramount, because the thing is that it's got to be the red heifer that they start sacrificing, but it had to be totally pure, and they have been working on that for decades.
Well, it's the ashes of the red heifer that purifies the water at the temple.
Okay.
And the priest.
So they've been looking for a perfect red heifer for, I don't know, biblically
Right.
speaking, was going to be 2,000 years, and that's exactly what it's been.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just, and wow, I just got the chills.
They already have authorization to begin sacrificial stuff, and they have the ground that's already been given to them by somebody to
Right.
build this. So,
But that's just it though. But I mean, construction's got to happen, because now that all the elements are coming into place, that's got to happen, because it's got to be taking place for somebody to step
Well,
on
as a
the world
temple.
stage and to
Hi,
say,
this is David Sterry from Real Life, and you're with the Groove Zone.
awesome, thank you, sir. But if that's the case, what they're saying is that if that was a tree stump, who cut the tree down?
Giants.
Exactly. And now
And that's I can't remember the other sites, but that was one of several that I heard about. And it makes sense. What else does it look like but a petrified stump?
and why? Because why do we think in our modern day intellectual minds, why do we think that they could have never existed? We have not a clue. There's so much that has been hidden from us.
Because the mind shapers just kind of put it under the rug.
And we talked about this, and it makes me, because like even you brought this up, Oz, is that, it's like, how is it that they don't understand that, the Nephilim are real and all that? And it's like, and I think it all does tie in together, because if they hide the fact that there were giants on the earth and the remains of them or the evidence of them, then people aren't going to start to really think, oh, well, giants. It's like, oh, Goliath, or, and start to realize. What's that?
It broadens the mind,
But in so many religions and in so many cultures around the world, though, giants are spoken of over and over and over.
All Native American in the United States and Canada, all Native American,
right?
They've all got a historical record, so to speak.
In modern day America, well, there's no way that could have ever happened.
That's what the Smithsonian wants you to think, huh?
I know, but I think that to a degree, I think still to this point, I think that's almost a general consensus. That's not real.
Well, it's odd, because there was almost daily headlines every day of giant bones found here, giant skull found there, this and that, giant, until about the turn of the century, 1900 or so, and then all of a sudden, the Smithsonian, there's record of them starting beginning to buy up these artifacts, and they started disappearing. You stopped seeing any evidence of it.
When we were young, though, I remember the books and the articles and stuff like that, even though they were pretty, outdated at that point. But I remember growing up with that. But it seems like as technology has moved along, like a lot of these doors are
artifacts, and they started disappearing. You stopped seeing any evidence of it.
When we were young, though, I remember the books and the articles and stuff like that. You know, even though they were pretty, you know, outdated at that point. But I remember growing up with that. But it seems like as technology has moved along, like a lot of these doors are closing up. A lot of these things that have been like almost just like commonly known aren't as easily as accessible as they once were. Stormy, I'm really glad that you brought that up though about Devil's Tower. What else have you had? How else has that like popped into your realm lately?
It's popping up in a lot of like synchronicity kind of ways. Like I'm hearing random things about it, and I've always been interested in it. I'm interested in everything, but it keeps popping up. Just I'll see a picture, or I'll see a preview or a clip of a show about it, or I mean, even somebody brought up Close Encounters the other day, and they were talking about how, you know, basically about the plot of the movie, how everybody just had this drive to go and just be a Devil's Tower.
Even if they didn't know what it was.
Even if they didn't know what it was. And I think there's a lot of those kinds of places all over the world, and not in a sci-fi kind of way.
Right.
I think we're drawn to places.
Right.
Whether it be primal, whether it be in our DNA, whether it be, you know, spiritual, whether it be a migratory leftover, you know, tendency or whatever. But I think we all tend to be drawn to places.
Right.
Predominantly as Americans, we're all Bible smart to a certain extent, you know. I mean, through the last couple of generations in our family, at least. And to take a book that's supposed to be as renowned as the Bible, and it's been said, you take it literal, and it's got all this record of stuff that they say is myth, you know, and the giants being one of them.
Right.
The David and Goliath, you know. I mean,
but
why don't more people just go, yeah, for real, you know?
But
hey, Robin, easy.
This is Mike Scope from A Flock of Seagulls with DJ D Phoenix, and this is the Groove Zone.
I mean, It was, and I did verify that it was the crematorium. It was the mortuary and morgue for Winlock, and there was a lot of there's a lot of history behind Winlock in general. It's kind of known to be kind of this spooky, haunted place because there's a lot of sad. There was a lot of poor people that moved there, and then you get a lot of sad. But she was telling me she had stayed out in Winlock in the area on her ex-girlfriend's family's property one summer, and they were kind of camping outside one night. It was like some teenage girls and the little sisters, not teeny bopper, like 18, 20, you know. And they were kind of just doing their thing in the middle of the night. It was like July or August, you know, it was dark out and that. And they were kind of all sitting around outside. And one of them started to whistle sort of a lullaby type tune that just kind of popped into her head. And it was sort of melancholy and moody. And it was kind of, mesmerizing, I guess.
Okay.
Right? Like a lullaby you've heard but don't know is how she had explained it.
Yeah.
And that's not the weird part. The weird part was when she stopped whistling, somebody else that wasn't there kept on the tune. They heard him whistling for a while and they freaked out. And when they looked up, they said they saw this shadow figure, and it kind of looked like a grave digger with the old hat, all in dark and kind of drapey clothes, and that scared the bejeebers out of them. And my daughter doesn't just make up ghost stories.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
And what I looked up was, okay, Jesse, the guy that owned the hostel, it was very much under the table. It wasn't legal at all. He had applied for a business license in 2016 that allowed him to have 3 upstairs apartments.
Okay.
But when it burned down in November of this last year, there were 30 people displaced.
They don't have they have to get building permits and
Can you
stuff.
imagine the can of worms that this has opened?
Yeah. See.
Oh my gosh.
That could be a whole other show.
Our bunny ears right now.
Disney is one corporation you don't mess with, and Disney
No.
owns everything. That mouse is
That is a whole other show.
Do you guys know that that's a protest strategy?
What's that?
When people start kind of like some protests, like especially like right wing, really harsh things in public, college students across the US have taken to playing Disney music in the background so that it gets taken off the internet immediately because it gets copyrighted immediately. It's a protest like technique now is Disney music. They're the harshest on their copyright. They'll come down very quickly.
So watch this episode never airs. Or it airs once. Who knows?
Definitely.
Yeah, I love you. Send me some tickets to one of your parks, please. Okay. So I think now I'm not saying that I'm gonna get this right because you know I only sometimes ever do, but I think I've got us set where to go. See? Get all cocky and then happy power. Ow! Okay. Rock and roll. Hey guys, you are watching Hook, Line, and Thinker. This is our segment on the May edition, 2023, where we're going to go do a little bit of exploring. And I don't know if you guys heard, because I don't know if it'll hit the editing room floor or actually make the grade. But first of all, there's a big storm coming in, which is really trippy before we go any further. Because seriously, kids in Western Washington, was it not 90 degrees out there and sunny?
Yesterday, today, we set records this week.
Yeah, and now
this is the
why
earliest
everybody's
we've hit
mentally ill
90.
in Washington. We're following the weather cycles. It's up and down, honey.
Well, you know what? I can't say that it's not
So we are supposed to be getting this storm, and it's supposed to be fantastic. So it's perfect timing. We can be hot and stormy, and we can go play in the ice. Shush.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go play in the ice.
Well,
Okay, so did you get both that I sent you?
Yes.
Okay, they were the best that I could find that kind of relate to each other because there's a whole lot of information that's meh, and clearly I'm skeptical.
Gretchen.
But this one, because of the shapes of the tube, yeah, and you'll see it. But look, when you see the first and the second video, pay attention to the shape of the hole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and there's a lot of crap.
Are we talking about Mel's hole?
What's that?
Are we talking
the hole
about
in
Mel's
Antarctica?
Hole? Okay,
Yes.
never mind.
Yeah, we're not talking about
something
Courtney
to relate to
it. This isn't about Courtney Love tonight. That's next week.
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. Get it? Anyway, let's see. Where do I want to go from there?
Alexa, play hole.
I think you have to be old school to really appreciate that one. Okay, so yes, we're going on an expedition.
Say it.
We are ready to go to Antarctica. So before we do though, what is everybody's perspective on Antarctica? If somebody were just
I have my own conspiracy theory that I came up with.
Mira. Esa es una nave.
Oh, I'm not a conspiracy theorist in general, but I'm open to a lot. You know, I'm not a flat earther. I've seen the science behind it. I can do the science at home. I'm going to discount that one. However, in general, I'm open to the ideas. And my own personal thought is that Antarctica is the least explored continent out of all of them. Most of it's under 2 miles. Am I correct in saying that, Mom? 2 miles of ice? It's something pretty extreme.
In places. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So it's incredibly hard to get to, say, the volcanic vents. If you look at volcanic vents anywhere else on the Earth, there's life living in it at 700 degrees Fahrenheit plus. So my personal conspiracy theory is that dinosaurs still exist on Earth, like prehistoric dinosaurs, but in Antarctica and in places we can't find them because they've been so isolated for so long. There's not going to be a lot of evolution involved, and there are specific species and environments that would coalesce to each other in Antarctica, and that's my own personal thing.
Awesome perspective, totally, and actually, especially the part about the volcanic thing, it has to make you wonder because they're still discovering stuff in the oceans, especially recently. Over the last year or two, there have been some mighty funky, relatively prehistoric fish found, and you can't even call them.
And what's the statistic?
What's that one?
95% of the ocean has not been explored.
95.
We
right?
can't pretend to know anything about the ocean.
Right.
We know more about space.
Well, I know.
mission, for lack of a better term, by a whole collaborative of scientists around the world that are trying to map the entirety of the ocean floor by the year 2030, and they're pretty reputable folk. This is a real deal. I don't know if they'll get there.
And they're personally walking on the ocean floor and doing it themselves.
Well, of course not.
Seismic
Well, that's what I want.
some
Okay, but look,
sonar.
How do we know?
We're
and
using
sonar is what they're
sonar
using.
and things like that. They're
I will-
mapping it out like topographically, I suppose.
I don't care how long it takes them to put their foot down in that kind of like zero gravity atmosphere, but I want to see their foot imprint on the bottom of the ocean floor. And then I might believe that it's true. They're still telling us that. And a couple weeks ago, I just by chance happened to run across this video. This isn't Sasquatch or Dogman or anything like this. It's even a little weirder. I've always wondered how come there isn't more talked about the Black Hills and about the Capitol Forest.
And why they call it the Black Hills.
Right. Well, when you stop and think about how much land that covers, there's a lot of forestry up there. And I don't know. I mean, like, I know Tumwater kids have gone up there for decades to party. Yeah. Go Tumwater, T-Birds rock. But you never hear anything. You never hear anything about anything up in Capitol Forest.
We were too smashed. If we saw somebody who was like,
Right.
give me a beer.
Right. Well, it's probably Tim Schulte or one of those guys.
Oh, bless his heart. You know, he passed away recently.
Yeah, I do. And we'll leave that at that. God bless him anyway. Anyway, so to run across this video footage totally tripped me out. It's not until until after he kind of makes an introduction into it, until he actually says where it's at, because he says at first that it's up by Seattle, Washington, of course.
Right.
If you try to explain to anybody where we're from, you might.
It's like 11 miles from my home, you know.
Right.
Is the grow. Yeah.
But how many times, if you've ever been like traveling or whatever, and somebody asks where you're from, I know most people just say Seattle.
Yeah. I say Olympia.
Well, that's because you're a rock star, is why.
But yeah. But I'm not from Olympia though.
With that being said, now I finally get to share this video with you guys, and it's really a trip. Like I said, it's not Sasquatch or any other.
I didn't see anything in it when I was looking. I didn't see nothing.
This one was hard to find, and I've got a message out to the guy because I want to find out more about this, and I still haven't heard anything back from him yet. So fingers crossed, applesauce, that he'll eventually get a hold of me. But
applesauce. In
the meantime, we are going to watch and see what he has to say right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's relatively short, guys.
Hiker up near Seattle in a national park, fear for their life, had to run from like a miniature T-Rex, prehistoric little dinosaur. Right here's the only picture they got of it before they had to run, and they didn't want to become lunch. Right here, what do you think about this? Who knows? See?
I don't even know what.
But this is a bummer though, because you can't say right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's relatively short, guys.
Hiker up near Seattle in a national park, fear for their life, had to run from like a miniature T-Rex, prehistoric little dinosaur. Right here's the only picture they got of it before they had to run, and they didn't want to become lunch. Right here, what do you think about this? Who knows? See?
I don't even know what.
But this is a bummer though, because you can't
see nothing.
Whatever it is was in the bushes, I guess.
Okay.
It is up in the Capitol Forest. I've not seen any news reports. I've not heard anything else except for this. Let's watch it one more time, though.
Hiker up near Seattle in a national park, fear for their life, had to run from like a miniature T-Rex, prehistoric little dinosaur. Right here's the only picture they got of it before they had to run, and they didn't want to become lunch. Right here, what do you think about this? Who knows? See?
There's the red circle again. Now, do you see something kind of sticking out of the bush, though?
Like at 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
it looks like a phallic symbol.
I was just going to say that.
Thanks, Debbie.
Oh, that was me. I was up there. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Debbie.
I said an appropriate view.
No, you did. I appreciate that. So far, we're still at a PG rating, so I appreciate
I
it.
spy something.
I spy.
I would like to know where the hell it's at, because I mean, I know what a deer would look like standing at that distance, right where it's at right there, and it wouldn't be really easy to see. And that is definitely Capitol Forest, and it's over by Camp Fall Creek.
Okay. But isn't that weird though? Because
I see something.
If there's any validity to this at all, this has got to be one of the first stories that I've ever heard about the Capitol Forest.
I heard a story about Capitol Forest probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where the I don't know if it was the National Guard or if it was the mainstream military had gone up there and they were blocking off roads. Now, 2-3 people verified, yeah, but they were blocking off roads. You couldn't get into a certain area. One evening, because of 7 sightings of a Sasquatch on the same day by 7 separate people.
Hey, this is Carol Pope. You're listening to the Groove Zone via Olympia and Mount Vernon, Washington, with DJ D Phoenix.
Ow! Rock and roll. That's what we're after.
Doodly squat about it since.
Wow. I've never even heard that.
And my cousin saw one. I'll tell you right now, my cousin does not lie, is not a liar, would not even try to fool somebody by saying this. But when he was driving down Sherman Valley Road, that first bridge, he looked to the right like that. He said what he saw, he was disturbed. He told me and my father, he called us that day and he says, man, he goes, guys, I saw, here's what I saw. Da-da-da-da. He goes, I turned around as soon as I could and went back across the bridge. It was gone. It was squatting in a creek, he said, with his back to me. His shoulders were about 4 foot wide, it looked like. He couldn't see the ass. They couldn't see a tail or nothing like that. But he could see what looked like an elbow, like it was dealing with something in the, down, like it was squatting down Ethiopian style and messing with something with his back to him. He never saw it again. So I went up in the woods right there the next day, like a dumbass. I'll check it out. And I go all the way up in there, kind of like right across from where it would have been. And I didn't see anything, but I did get creeped the hell out almost immediately when I got right there and realized, I'm a dumbass. and I was looking over my shoulder the whole way out, but nothing. I never heard no noises or nothing. And I saw one tree break, which was a smaller branch break, but it was about 12 feet in the air. What would break out? Branches about that big around. So I've heard of this stuff up at Capitol Forest.
It's just that it doesn't get reported ever really though.
Right. I didn't report the shit I saw. That ain't no doubt it happened to me and my 2 friends with the triangle. I never reported that. What's the point?
Until our show.
Right.
That reminds me. Actually, you and I have been talking about doing a Dogman expedition at some point. Why don't you and I plan on one of your next available days? And I'd like to extend it to Dizzy and Stormy too, because they're close. Let's go to the Capitol Forest.
Yeah.
Well, let's do something.
I'm down.
Okay.
You can go up to the Capitol Forest. Stormy,
are you there?
Stormy, you got a great look on your face right now.
Stormy's frozen. She's frozen in fear.
Hail.
Okay. Should we watch that clip one more time?
Okay. I'm trying so hard and my signal is just.
Well,
You're what?
Probably.
We can try. We can try because I didn't see it at all.
Okay. So what I said while you were frozen, while you were sleeping, is would you be up to do a day expedition sometime with Oz and Dizzy?
If I have the opportunity, yeah.
Okay, cool. So seriously, off of this, then let's like seriously, like with even in the next, let's say by mid-June at the latest. Let's plan something where we can all get together at the same time. I can drive us up in my rig. I know Oz has got a good sized car. Rather than to do a caravan though, let's just all go in one. And let's go up and hang out up there for a couple of hours and see.
But what if the person with the keys dies or something? Then what are we going to do?
We'll make copies before that happens.
That's an old. We'll go hide in the tool shed.
Right, because we know how that movie ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So
you also assume that if one of us dies, we're gonna get left behind. That's not cool.
Oh yeah, I'm not coming back for you. What's drag you? No.
No, they're gonna have to do a group one on us. Okay, so anyway, let's watch that one more time. Then I've got a really cool one to show us. So once again, guys, viewing audience that is watching, this is from that's off of TikTok, but this is local to our area up in the Capitol Forest, which is just west of Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater, heading out to Prince Harbor County.
Hiker up near Seattle in a national park, feared for their life, had to run from like a miniature T-Rex, prehistoric little dinosaur. Right here's the only picture they got of it before they had to run, and they didn't want to become lunch. Right here, what do you think about this? Who knows? See?
I want to know what the rest of the video is, though.
Yeah, I would like to know who the guy is. I'd like to know who the narrator is.
I can send that information on to you. Like I said, I've got a message out to him right now. I just haven't heard back from him, but I'm gonna try and prod him for a little bit more info. Now, some of you guys might have seen this next one before, and this
Stormy. Stormy, you're froze again, and it's not a good one.
Could I have what's up with the reverb on the dude's voice?
It sounds like he's talking in a tin can.
I know,
Well,
huh?
yeah.
I want to one other thing. I'm sorry, Oz.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whatever that is, like I can't put.
That's what you did, and I wouldn't expect you guys to be wearing a shirt.
Hey, Mr. Bubble.
Why change it up? Yeah. Okay, now I'm really hoping that Shiloh and Jordan and Nathan do show up. We'll see whose guns are bigger.
You always catch me on the down low, man.
What's
Don't
that?
beat the bubbles out of you.
Don't drop the phone.
Yeah.
How are you?
I said I can't fight because they ripped my hair out of my chest.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I
That's
said you
wrong.
always catch me on the down low, man.
So I don't know if
I wonder if he's got any sisters.
Because those preacher kids, they
Yeah,
are
I know.
on it.
And
They're wild.
Preacher's kids and
Some are
grand.
wild.
I went out with one once. When I got out of jail,
That's
she
all
was
you
gone.
need.
When you got out of jail, she was gone.
Yeah. On to the next thing. On to the next best thing.
Okay.
Somebody's still harboring some frustration.
Someone needs to do some forgiveness work.
Yeah, it was that good, or he.
I made
really-
it all up.
Let it go, Oz. Let it go.
Yeah. There
Uh,
you go. There you go.
Hey, we've all
feel better.
had those letters, Oz.
I feel a lot better.
do you?
No.
You okay? Good. Okay. I was
We've
gonna
all
ask if you felt lighter.
We all had those Dear John letters, man.
I think I'm gonna go. You got the tub. I'm going to get in the shower. Come on, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do
Probably not a
that.
good idea.
Let's do that. We haven't met you guys.
Hey, this is Adia. I'm a rapper from New Jersey. I'm on Groovestone. This shit fire, man. Let's get it.
Ow! Rock and roll. Cool, buddy. Think of an M word that stands for water or bathing or
M.
Or Wednesday.
M word. Yeah.
My family.
The family
What do you call that thing where they keep all the fish at the zoo?
hatchery.
Marine, the marina?
You could call it massage.
Oh no, excuse me. Where the boats are.
Marina Monday. There you go.
Marina Monday.
Okay.
Marine Boy Monday.
We'll work on changing the title for you there, champ. And I see Stormy's joining us. There she is. Hey, chickadee.
She just palmed my face.
How good to see you.
Yeah, what's up?
Not much. You look great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Stormy, I think you've met a couple. I think you met Oz, and I think you met Robin. Okay. Okay. So it goes Oz, Robin, James, Stormy, and Diggler. Or Spencer, either way. And
Or Merman himself.
Merman, yeah. You know, it wouldn't be actually. I'd have more issues with it if it weren't for the fact that he did this when Dub Effects and I started this. So even Dub was going to do the bathtub thing probably that following week.
That's awesome.
That would have been definitely a one-off from anybody else doing this.
Oh my gosh, Triple T.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Yes, sir.
But actually, just so you guys know, DJ Triple T is also an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And boxing. I do boxing now. That's how I know all those guys.
Tell us a little.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, tell us a little bit about your background, real quick.
So I started MMA in 2009. I had 21 sanctioned cage fights. I fought at a lot of the major casinos in the area, the Snoqualmie, the Emerald Queen, the Little Creek, Quinault, and Seven Cedars Casino.
Oh, wow.
And I went 8-13 MMA. Then I found kickboxing and Muay Thai kickboxing. I went 5-0 in both of those. And then I found boxing in 2016. And I enjoyed that. And I won Golden Gloves 3 times. And then I found Street Beefs. And now I fight for YouTube. And I was champion for boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. So
right on, bro.
Yeah.
I think
Right
that's
on.
it. I think that's Diggler's tribute to you, the MMA fighter backdrop, right?
Daddy. You know who that
That's
is,
what's up.
man?
I think that's
Ever
Diggler's.
seen that guy?
No, who is that?
That's Eddie Wineland. That's a friend of mine that lives here where I'm at.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he got knocked out by old sugar last and he quit.
Well, yeah, because he's old now, but back in the day, he was a
they always
beast.
get old, man.
Back in the day, he was a beast. WEC days when he
There
fought
you
for
go.
WEC.
There you go. Yeah.
Savage.
Really? Okay.
Get down, Key.
Not a clue who they're talking about, but that's all right.
Well, because you're not a fighter. It's a fight. It's the part of the fight game.
By the way, quick shout out to the family and friends of Jay Gotham.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's my best friend.
Yeah. Really sorry about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. We made a couple of shout outs to the family. Doug, I see that you're here, but I don't see you, buddy.
It won't let me start video.
Why?
I have no idea. It won't let me do the video.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on the computer.
Really? And it won't?
Yeah.
Trying to
It
think.
won't let me do anything.
Did you go into your settings at all?
Not yet.
Because the only thing I can think of is that, like, it might sometimes even if I. Doug, I see that you're here, but I don't see you, buddy.
It won't let me start video.
Why?
I have no idea. It won't let me do the video.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on the computer.
Really? And it won't?
Yeah.
Trying to
It
think.
won't let me do anything.
Did you go into your settings at all?
Not yet.
Because the only thing I can think of is that, like, it might sometimes even if I do other things online between our tapings, like it'll go back to a default, which is
you have to.
right, which will take it to like RZA or something weird like that. And you have to actually go back into your settings and tell the computer what camera you want it to use.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, I can kind of walk you through it. Because gosh, I'm glad you're here.
I'm too.
I'm tickled.
Pink.
Pink. we pinked it the same.
Yes, we sure did. And I wouldn't expect you guys to be wearing a shirt.
Hey, Mr. Bubble.
Why change it up?
Diggler.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm really hoping that Shiloh and Jordan and Nathan do show up. We'll see whose guns are bigger.
You always catch me on the down low, man.
What's
Don't
that?
beat the bubbles out of you.
Don't drop the phone.
Yeah.
How are you?
I said I can't fight because they ripped my hair out of my chest.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I
That's
said
wrong.
you always catch me on the down low, man.
So I don't know if anybody caught the interview or not, but Shiloh Borden, the MMA fighter out of Aberdeen.
Cool.
Did anybody, okay, anyway, this week we premiered five shows, and one of them was Shiloh Borden. If you guys get a chance, I won't embarrass him or anything if he gets a chance to show up tonight. If be said for that. Doug, I see that you're here, but I don't see you, buddy.
It won't let me start a video.
Why?
I have no idea. It won't let me do the video.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on the computer.
Really? And it won't?
Yeah.
Trying to think.
It won't let me do anything.
Did you go into your settings at all?
Not yet.
Because the only thing I can think of is that, like, it might sometimes, even if I do other things online between our tapings, like it'll go back to a default, which is right, which will take it to like RZA or something weird like that. And you have to actually go back into your settings and tell the computer what camera you want it to use.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, I can kind of walk you through it. Because gosh, I'm glad you're here.
I'm too.
I'm tickled.
Pink.
Pink. we pinked it the same.
Yes, we sure did. And I wouldn't expect you guys to be wearing a shirt.
Hey, Mr. Bubble.
Why change it up? Yeah. Okay, now I'm really hoping that Shiloh and Jordan and Nathan do show up. We'll see whose guns are bigger.
You always catch me on the down low, man.
What's that?
Yeah, she'll be back. She's coming.
Okay, we're good. So I know it's still about, and yeah, weird weather system out there. I know we're going to Antarctica, but I had to dress down a little bit. Thank God. I was getting a little bit humid.
Guys, I don't know if you can see it, but I see a rainbow.
Do you?
Yeah.
And don't I just see a big circular disc?
I just see more like gray clouds coming our way.
It's right in between the two trees. I don't even know if you guys can see it. It's right there.
Oh, I can see it actually.
Oh yeah.
Or are those chemtrails?
No, it's a rainbow. Oh, are we getting onto that?
No, we're not
That's a
getting
whole
onto
other
that.
show too.
No, that's the June edition.
Right.
Okay. All right. So everybody's here. Hail, hail. So another lead in. Hi, guys. You're watching the Hook, Line, and Thinker podcast on the Groove Zone Network, GZ23, out of Olympia, Washington. We've got Gretchy. Hello. DJ Dizzy. Hello. From the wonderful land of Oly, we've also got Stormy. Hello.
Hello.
And we also have Knuckles, our newest kid on the block. Knuckles, how you doing?
Good. Pretty good.
Good. Thanks
Feeling
for-
very childish.
Oh my gosh, I love your amount of knowledge, actually. And then
Thank
coming
you. I
in,
appreciate that. It came from my mother.
I catch that a lot, actually. Yeah. Who got it from her? Who got it from her?
She's
There we
a
go.
little clone, really. She's just a mini me.
We don't have DJ Ducky here with us, unfortunately, because he's always
Right.
in the bunker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Good. Well, so we know what that was, and I'm glad that you told us, because I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought that there was some.
To be fair, however, I do believe that there is some shit under the ocean in general. I just don't think that's the video that proved it.
Right, without a doubt.
There's some weird shit under there.
Well, there is everywhere.
Okay, what's this?
Engineer stationed at the McMurdo station in Antarctica revealed that he had been covering up something this whole time. Well, you see, while transporting supplies and crew members to sites around Antarctica, he and his crew reported seeing circular crafts flying about an area called Beardmore Glacier. However, they were never allowed to investigate further, as the area around it was supposed to be a no-fly zone. On one occasion, they received an emergency immediate extraction for an injured crew member. The captain knew they wouldn't make it if they... What is going on beneath Antarctica? In 1995, a naval engineer stationed at the McMurdo station in Antarctica revealed that he had been covering up something this whole time. Well, you see, while transporting supplies and crew members to sites around Antarctica, he and his crew reported seeing circular crafts flying about an area called Beardmore Glacier. However, they were never allowed to investigate further, as the area around it was supposed to be a no-fly zone. On one occasion, they received an emergency immediate extraction for an injured crew member. The captain knew they wouldn't make it if they used conventional flying routes, and decided to fly through the Beardmore Glacier to pick up the casualty. However, Upon entering the no-fly zone, they saw a giant hole the size of a football field that led below the ice. Eventually, they rescued the injured crew member, but upon returning to McMurdo Station, they were met by a man dressed in all black that told them, "What you saw at the pole, you did not see. You do not talk about this because you never saw it." Even though you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below, many people still wonder.
That also works for the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce. I need to make
The Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, did you say? Sorry,
what
I've
you
got
see there stays here. Yeah. What, stuff doesn't leave Las Vegas. Stuff doesn't leave Antarctica.
Nine pets died. And there's been a whole lot of like janky. It was under investigation already for not only operating without a license, but it was so not to code. It wasn't even funny. It was run with extension cords through the basement. A lot of the pathways were blocked off. None of the fire extinguishers were current. I mean, they knew they were trying to shut them down already. And then up it went. And I got to wonder, if you're under that much scrutiny and you can't get out of it, you know he had insurance, right? And I guess my daughter said this man is the slumlord of all slumlords. So I kind of wonder now if it was insurance.
Could have been.
It's so hard to say that, and that's usually the first thing that people think of when, especially when it's something along those lines. I mean, gosh, thinking back as far as I can, I know so many businesses that came down under fire, and you wonder if it wasn't an insurance thing. So,
except for the Evergreen Ballroom.
And see, that one goes through my mind because that was my night to play.
Right, and then it had no insurance, and it got torched.
Well, that's still such a sad story because of the fact that it
So
was
much history.
Total loss.
I got a story for that place.
Really?
I was bouncing out there. My brother was running the DJ center, and he was sick that night, didn't come in, so a guy stood in for him. Well, my brother was giving me a ride to work there since he worked there. So
brother worked at the ballroom?
Huh?
Your brother worked at the ballroom?
He spun. He spun. He DJ'd the music for a short while, a couple months. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
And I was working the door there. I was bouncing there. And the thing is, I told him when I knew he wasn't going to go, I said, "Look, dude, you can't be late. Be there at 2 o'clock because I'll be walking out about 2:15." I said, "Be there because you just, you don't leave a guy who's your lounge cop by himself with the doors locked and people, meandering off because of you never know what happened inside."
Right.
And he was late as usual, about probably 45 minutes late. Well, about 2:30, I'm sitting on the front steps of this place, and not the hair on the back of my neck, but I just felt like I was being looked at. Hair on the back of my neck, but I just felt like I was being looked at, And there's a little store that was right to the right. If you're sitting on the steps walking out, there's a store to the right.
Right.
I had just come back from using the phone booth to call him again because this was pre-cell phones.
Right.
And I sit down on the steps and I get that feeling, and I'm like, "What the hell?" So I just turn around and I look, and it had the glass doors, and then the glass, right?
Right.
And I look, and here is a woman standing there inside, right up, almost up to the glass. All I can see is her shadow because there's no lights on in there, and the lights from the store, weren't shining in there. And I look at that and I'm like, "What in the hell?" I thought it was Bonnie, who managed it, and I thought it was her, and I'm like, "Bonnie?" And I thought to myself, "That is not Bonnie's." I could have stood up there, walked away. And I told her about it later, and she goes, "Yeah." She named her. I don't remember what she named. She says, "People see her all the time."
Really?
Crazy.
Never heard anything about I don't ever remember getting a weird vibe when I was out there though either.
You never got a hold of any bad stuff then?
What's that?
I said you never got a hold of any of the bad stuff then.
Well, no, I did, but that
there's a lot of history gone when that place
What year
went.
was that?
God dang, it must have been.
The building came down in 2000.
I got back from Florida. It was about 2004, 5, 6.
It couldn't have been. It burned down in 2000.
Or okay, then it was before I went to Florida. Because I didn't get back from Florida until 2003. So
So
It did burn 2000?
burned in June of
It had to go
July
up
of
to
2000.
Yeah, you're right. It was when Dave was still around. My buddy, it was probably about 98, 99 at the latest.
Wow. Okay. Wild.
When did the Mongolian grill close down?
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, when did they stop being the Mongolian grill?
I don't remember. And that was another one of my clubs.
I worked there too.
Get out.
And the
We're gonna have to
Diggler.
have a conversation off of here because that's a trip. I didn't know we worked the same venues.
What were you doing? Were you DJing?
Yeah. Yeah, I had Retro Mongo for quite a while.
Hi, this is Drew from Strange Advance, and you're listening to The Groove Zone with DJ D Phoenix.
I wonder if he's got any sisters.
Because those preacher kids, they
Yeah,
are
they
on
are.
it.
And
They're wild.
Preacher's kids and
Some
grand.
are wild.
I went out with one once. When I got out of jail, she was
all you
gone.
needed.
When you got out of jail, she was gone.
Yeah. On to the next thing. On to the next best thing.
Okay.
Somebody's still harboring some frustration.
Someone needs to do some forgiveness work.
Yeah, it was that good, or he
I made
really-
it all up.
Let it go, Oz. Let it go.
Yeah.
Uh,
there you go. There you go.
Hey, we've all
feel better.
had those letters, Oz.
I feel a lot better.
Do you?
No.
You okay? Good. Okay. I was
We've
gonna
all
ask if you felt lighter.
We all had those Dear John letters, man.
I think I'm gonna go. You got the tub. I'm going to get in the shower. Come on, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do
Probably not a
that.
good idea.
Let's do that. We haven't.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop to look around once in a while. You could miss it.